So there's a story I remember about how back at the end of the first Gulf War, Dick Cheney, who was then Secretary of Defense, gave a call to former President Reagan to thank him for the wonderful military he had left to the first Bush administration. You know, as he pointed out, there is little that the President or his Defense Secretary can do to improve the force they have to employ. And you know, I guess it's kind of like handing down the family car. If you had it serviced regularly and didn't run it into the ground, it's a great deal. But if you treated it like a piece of crap, you're sending your kid out into the world in a bald-tired, gas-guzzling death trap. And boy, oh boy, did George W. Bush hand off a Deathmobile to Obama. Although in this case, it's not the military, but the Secret Service. I mean, come on, they let two wannabe reality stars, Mr. and Mrs. Salahi, a pair of polo-playing socialite deadbeats from Virginia, to penetrate White House security surrounding President Obama's first state dinner, like a hot knife through butter, or like Rush Limbaugh through the first 7 courses. But to be fair to the Bush-trained Secret Service, Obama's still a pretty popular guy, and no one ever tries to assassinate the popular presidents. Unless, of course, you count Reagan or JFK as popular. But seriously, it really is pretty mind-boggling that during a time of war, when you have a president walking around with a bullseye on him so big that he should have an endorsement deal with Target, a guy was able to make it past all the vaunted White House security with nothing for credentials other than a hot blonde on his arm. You know, really, it's just inconceivable, unless, of course, you're talking about the Clinton White House, in which case Mrs. Salahi might have received something a little more intimate from the president than a photo op. You know, hey, instead of a spot on Real DC Housewives, she could have landed a starring role on The Girls Next Door. I think Dick Cheney owes it to our nation to pick up his phone, call his old boss, and really let him have it for the crappy security he turned over to President Obama. And then to show that there were no hard feelings, he could do us all a favor and offer to take W out hunting. And seriously, they could have Secret Service handle security for the event, and I'm sure it will be just as safe as pulling out of Tiger Woods' driveway.